Today I'm going to show you how to make really easy cupcakes. You need 200 grams of butter and it needs to be really soft. So if you can get it to room temperature, it shouldn't be melted, it should just be really soft and squidgy. That makes it easier. Into that you need to add 200 grams of sugar. And the other ingredients you need is self-raising flour. You need 200 grams. And you need 4 eggs. And some vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is something that, although it's quite expensive, I really recommend that you have it in your store cupboard. I use it over and over again in baking. It's not like vanilla essence. Vanilla extract is the real thing. It's pure vanilla. And for this recipe, I'd use a dessert spoon, which is basically the size of your cereal spoon that you would have for breakfast. So in there, I've got my butter, sugar, and my vanilla extract. And I'm going to very quickly whisk these together. By whisking the mixture, we're trying to get air into it, which will give us really nice, light fairy cakes. Okay, that should do. I generally prefer all-in-one cake recipes, but the problem with adding your flour at this stage is you don't want to beat flour because it becomes tough and you won't have that lovely light aerated sponge. However, the butter and sugar, you can beat all you like for a good 5 or 10 minutes and get it really light and airy. Generally, you're meant to add your eggs one at a time, but trust me, for this recipe, I'm going to add all my eggs together, all my flour, and let's just get it in the oven as quickly as possible. So 4 eggs are going in, and 200 grams of self-raising flour. And I'm not even sifting it. And then we're going to give these a quick whisk. Okay, I've whisked it just enough to incorporate all the flour. Now it should be dropping consistency, okay? Now what does that mean? It means that when I lift my whisk up, without tapping it, the mixture should plop off the whisk, okay? If it doesn't plop off the whisk, which sometimes can happen, just add a tablespoon or 2 of milk and then you'll get that lovely texture. So quick whisk, and that should do it, okay? I'm gonna do something slightly different today. I'm gonna make mini cupcakes. And in the supermarket, you can buy, as you know, this size of cupcake cases, which is just the standard fairy cake. But you can also buy petit four cases, which is a fancy name for little miniature cupcakes. And these are really great, especially if you want to give them to children, because it makes absolutely loads. And as I say, you can stick them in the freezer. Good for birthday parties. It's coming up to the end of term, so this gives me something to take into school for the children on the last day of term. So you can either have 2 spoons and very patiently put a teaspoon in each one, or, very clever idea here, a piping bag with a nozzle. And I'm just going to put this mixture into my piping bag. You can buy disposable piping bags, or you can, I mean, they're pretty cheap in the supermarket, but if it's something you wouldn't normally buy, 2 teaspoons and just put it into the cases, really easy. And then into each one, a little squeeze. The reason I'm using a piping bag is because I can control exactly how much I put in to each case, and they want to be half full. And this is as easy as it gets. So I've preheated my oven to 190 degrees. These smaller cakes are going to go in for 8 minutes and the larger ones will go in for 10, and we'll have a look at them. Yeah, these are absolutely fine. I wouldn't want these to be any darker. And these are lovely too. Oops. So you can see the colour, a nice light golden brown. If you're going to freeze them, obviously freeze them before decorating. And they'll keep in the freezer. I put them in little plastic bags, don't squash them, make sure there's plenty of room in the freezer, but they'll stay in your freezer for up to a month. And they're so quick to defrost that you can actually take them out of the freezer and decorate them from frozen. They just take a few minutes to defrost. You need icing sugar if you're going to make icing for these cakes. I've used paper bowls and plastic spoons because then I can throw them away afterwards, because icing can be a bit messy. So you put your icing sugar into a bowl, and just check that you can see what I'm doing, like so. Now I've got 2 bowls because I'm doing 2 colours. I'm going to do some pink and some blue. I'm going to use orange juice instead of water, and this is little clementine orange. because it's just going to flavour the icing, and the sharpness of the orange will work. It will cut through the sweetness. So just a little squeeze of orange juice into the icing sugar, like so. What you're trying to do is get a very thick paste. Be patient. When you think that you know, it needs a little bit more liquid, just stay with it for a while. Keep stirring until all the powder's incorporated, like so. And if it is a bit too runny, don't panic, add a bit more icing sugar. I also am going to add some colour, so that's liquid again. So let me add my colour first. For this one I'm going to add pink. These food colours are really cheap from the supermarket. They're only about 40p. So I've added my pink colour. And I'm going to come close again because it's important that you see the texture, the consistency. This is such fun for the children to do, but don't let them get hold of the food colouring. I'm going to mix it so it's nice and smooth, but that thickness is right, okay? So we've got the two sizes. We've got the larger fairy cake size and the tiny little ones. So if I show you just one of the small ones, we just get a spoonful of the icing over the top. And if you put it in the middle and just tease it to the edges, like so, it will level itself off like this. So you get a nice flat glassy surface, and this will set hard, but it will take a while. So again, I'm just literally gonna put a spoonful of the icing in the middle, tease it to the edges. Okay, and I think they look pretty just as they are, but I've got some lovely little sweets here which can decorate the top, and they'll look very effective. And that's it. A really easy recipe for cupcakes that work. And when they're decorated, I think you'll agree, they look really pretty.